So what's up, guys? So I'm back in town again. Now starting to look, and I've been doing some reading here and there, and I just actually just wanted to post out or show you. Yeah, I mean this VQ's been around for shit from the freaking older Maximas like '98 Maximas VQ30s. But anyhow, you see this one was posted in 2011, but this is actually a pretty cool article because it's talking about a Formula One D car that he drifts with, whatever. Basically, the car was making 610 wheel horsepower on a stock block. They ended up having some boost creep and the motor blocked. What do you call it? Hasn't boost creep any blue, but I think they said it was due to heat. So anyhow, there's these cool people. Hey. They're just talking about, this guy went and built it. And in this whole article, what I like to, point out, what we'll eventually get to, is how Nissan interchanges a lot. So one of the issues with the earlier VQs was the way that they did the porting for the water. And as you see here, they have the inlet, this is the outlet, and all of these are blocked. Then they kind of did the same thing with the second gen, but then with the third gen, they opened up these ports, but then they also, I guess, blocked this off. So reading here, it says you just got to cut away, do some openings to use the HR, the high rev gasket on a regular VQ. So that's one little trick that we will be doing once we open up the block. I got that spare block that I'm going to be doing. Let's see. So then after that, they're actually talking about the head bolts, which I like ARP, but it's still pretty cool that you can use these the VQ35 HR high rev head bolts, and as you can see, they're longer, and they said that they're stronger. Little shits here and there. They're just talking about Cosworth. It's not that good. That's what I used on my KA gasket. And you see, this is where they went and they opened it out to use the beneficials of the high rev head gasket. Let me see what else that I have here. I'm trying to think. Oh, they're just talking about cams, yada 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 yada. So anyhow, basically what I'm going is I'm just doing some research. So then when I do go to build the other motor, I have it, so I know some of the weak points of the motor. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this. We had to do this similar on the KA2. If you went with 280 or higher cams, you just have to machine out the head so it passes through. That's standard. That's really no big issue. As you can see here, that's where that extra casting material would hit the cam lobe, and that would be no good. So that's what we do for that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else good in here. Shim under bucket. Unlike the KAs, those are shim on top of bucket, and then it's fun trying to freaking make the specs of what you need for the tolerances. But anyhow, this is all going now more into actually building a stout block and everything. So what I was really just wanted to point out was how the VQ had these issues with overheating. They did it for emissions, but when you start throwing power, more power means more compression pressure. Higher compression pressure, which means more heat. And so that flawed design it's not technically a flawed design for stock VQ, whichever, it should be fine. But with, let's say going boost, it's not going to work. And the other thing I usually do, since I live down in South Florida, I don't run thermostats because, we hardly see 40-degree temps, and even so, after a while, not even after a while, I'd say even with the other car, the KA, that thing used to warm up probably within, let's say like 5 minutes. Typical of your standard car with the what's that thing called inside there, thermostat. But the thing is too is when you guys are running without a thermostat, just make sure that your oil is warmed up, because if the oil characteristics, the flow characteristics to protect the metal aren't at its premium or highest or beneficial place when it's the oil's cooler. It's just more sluggish per se, especially if we're in a like I run 15W40. I don't know what I'm gonna do in this motor yet. I got to do some readings because 15W40 might be a little bit too underkill. But if people are putting 10W40 in this motor or whatever the FSM specs out, then I'll see. Plus, depending on once well, I'm gonna see. This is a stock motor, but anyhow, I was just saying, if you have like looser tolerances, then you can go with a thicker oil to help alleviate or even protect the motor from spanking, like metal touching. I'm over here kind of lost, but hopefully now the next course of action, I'll go to the garage and we'll see. Alright, so I'm back here now, and when I'm next course of action with this is I need to strip all of that shit off. Basically, I'm taking off anything that I don't need. So no AC, those manifolds. I'm gonna be ordering the what's it called, the Ultima ones. I just like them because with the front wheel drive, they go and they come and then they come straight down. So that should give me the clearance that I need to work with this car. I mean, I could cut and possibly, weld and modify, something to work there, but I don't, plus these are aftermarket headers, so they should flow a little bit better. I don't know. I mean, but then Nissan, probably built some good things. That's what the next step is. I want to start stripping this out, start getting the emissions removed, and then start looking at what I don't need. So now I can clean up the wiring harness. So I can go and chop all this all up, because I won't need this because I am not using a fly-by-wire throttle. O2 sensor, I won't need that because Mega Squirt don't give a shit about narrow. Well, I mean, narrow band works, but you want to use your wide band. I have that. So I mean, there's a lot of cleanup that I need to do, but I just need to come and I want to basically remove the harness and then just splice it open and start just running wires. So and then I can run those into the car. Since I have all of this length, I should have more than enough, and then I can just connect that straight to the squirt. It's awesome once you realize with the Mega Squirt how little wires are needed to go to that actual motor. And other things too, I'm also like you see how they have this coolant line for the throttle body, and, it runs up here through there. That's just gonna disconnect it. So what I'll do is just probably cap off that. There's so many little things that you don't need. And the other issue why I hate fucking coolant lines is because when those bitches burst, it is a pain. Especially, let's say if this one were to burst in the back of the damn motor, like especially on the freaking what do you call it, the VQ inside that what's that thing called? Oh, I'm on anything. But inside the Z33, you can get your hands in there. So and then I'm start looking at this of what do you call it? Seeing how to replace or not replace, but a lot of these fuel lines. Like I guess I'll probably keep that. I gotta look, but to make this a return type system. If you guys familiar with the fuel, if you have a returnless system or return type, returnless is in the newer cars, where I guess, basically it doesn't have excess fuel running back to the fuel tank because it's all controlled within the fuel pump and inside there with the regulator. I don't know, some shit. But you know, when we're going with aftermarket, you know, even boost, you want to have your, what do you call it, rising rate fuel pressure regulator. So for every pound of boost, it increases 1 psi. So help keeps down your duty cycles. But yeah, I'm over here, I'm looking at this, and it looks, you know, kind of crazy. But once I start cleaning her up and getting shit removed, it's gonna look better. So that's what I'm probably gonna do, because it's freaking raining outside today, non-stop rain. But all right, guys. Hopefully I'll come back and I'll see if I get her cleaned up. All right, wait.